So I hope I have terminated it. I don't know why he has got stuck. Let us run it again. The problem was I am not incrementing the value, so he is inside the loop itself. So that is because I use single plus. So I am not, of course it has to add. It has to add. I'll put a system out. So for this, the console will be helpful. You put a system out, right? Dot println. So we'll know how the increment has happened. Println, put here value of A. So now you will exactly see in the console how the execution happening, what is the value of the loop. So I am not changing anything. I am just, one thing is clear, it is going into the loop. Right? Let us come back over here. So he is starting the run now. So you can see now the value of 0 is being typed in and he is in the loop. He is not coming out of the loop. The reason is I assigned the value of A to the A. So I need to now increment the value. Right? I say now A plus plus A. A plus equals A, that is perfectly fine. A plus plus, that also is fine. I run the script again. So here, by the time you come back to the console, it will complete the run. So anyway, I came back to the console. So he has completed the run. If you really see here, it is incremented because it is, we have put A plus plus. So it is A, that is the syntax for A plus equal to A. But here, it is called post increment. I am incrementing afterwards. I think it is plus A. Is this not acceptable? It is not acceptable. Anybody help? Is it A plus or? I think it is to be like this, but it is not incrementing. This is not acceptable. Assignment must be variable. Right. So this is supposed to work. Anyway, I'll just come back to you on this. So it is A plus plus is for a single increment. There is a command for incrementing the A value itself. That is, after incrementing, I'm posting the value. It will be running like 1, 2, 4, 8, 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 8 plus 8. So it will, that I just wanted to simulate. Somehow I'm missing somewhere. What minor mistake I'm doing. So let me see what it is. Or A equal to A plus. Here it is A plus plus. So that is, I'll just come back to that on this. So now we have A plus plus is for a single increment. I do have a assigning back that is called post increment. We do have a post increment methodology as well. So we will see that as we just before we finish the class. I'll update you on that. It is possible. So now it is while loop. So we just finished the while loop. The next important factor is So right now what we are incrementing is a equal to a plus 2 is a step. That means 0 plus 2, 2, 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 2, 8. I want to add a plus a. So instead of 2, I want to add a plus a. That is what I like to do actually. So this is also available, but there are some simpler methods. So a equal to a plus a. That means 0 plus 0. Again, since I am in 0, I think I am starting with the 0. It is incrementing. So a plus will work if I start from 1. Yes. And that was the mistake. So since 0 plus 0 is always 0. So that was the mistake. I think now it will be. I have incremented to 1. A plus equal to a. I run the script. Now you can see for yourself the way it is running. I made a mistake of this 1 starting with 0. 0 plus 0 is always 0. So I now run this. So it has never entered the loop. By the time he starts, he finished the loop. So I come back here. Now you notice now in this for loop is fine. While loop 1, 2, 4, 8. Only 4 iterations. It is incremented 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 4, 8. Since we said it is less than 10, so he has stopped at the 8 level. So that means only 4. Please, one important note is we should not start with the 0. So starting with the 0, it never increments because a plus plus, these are all called components of the code reviews. So we don't know when exactly the mistake happens. Suddenly the value, if I'm using this methodology, right, in my script, suddenly if I'm using a plus equals a and somebody reassigned the value of a to 0, you never end the loop. So it's an accidental, but it is really a challenging, important job to be noted down. Especially when this code review, we call it as a code review. So this is called post increment. Right? These are all standard increments. I equal to I plus 1, I plus plus. These are all standard increments. What we have done here is called post increment. I'll just put a comment here. This is called post increment. So next is, so we have just finished while loop. Next we move on to do loop. So do loop, the condition starts in the end. So do loop always goes to the condition while here. So I'll go here, do, I'll say int b equal to 1. Right? So statement of the do, I put it inside. So again, I'll say log info. My do loop count is. Make sure you put it within quotes. Right? Then plus my int of b. So just for your reference, I'll use the integer I capital. It's an object reference. Plus, I'll say now b dot to string. So to finish that command, I go with the end statement. So log info. So if you place your hand on that object, you get the how it is managed. So next, I want to put the system info also, system out dot println. Println is for each line. It prints. For that, I don't have to worry about converting its data. So that is also done. Now while b equal to what you want to do. Now here, I need to increment the b before the execution. So b equal to b plus 1. I need to increment it, run it, until b is less than equal to 10. Right? So this is my do loop. Please note this do loop completes, the statement of the do completes over here. So the statement of while completes over here. So you should not put a semicolon in the same line of while. So it has opened a parenthesis, that means it is all the content or part of the while. Same thing for loop. It's all curly braces. So it is not a normal parenthesis. For loop, this is the normal parenthesis. This is the curly braces. Curly braces is what for using it for opening the loop and closing the loop. So I am open the loop. Automatically, if you see the statement, by default, if you put say for example for, right, I just start enter, automatically the closing braces is added. So by default takes care of it. If you are manually changing it, you have to be aware that the number of braces you have opened, you need to ensure that you close the number of braces that you open. So always if you are having a syntax issue, you can see the syntax information are coming over here. So syntax, error on token, right? Delete these tokens. So the syntax issues, you will get it then and there. As far as possible, you try to understand what that syntax error is. Always the help is available from the internet. So because Java is taught by several people, so it's open. Only thing is you need to have a practice to remember the command. Especially when you are managing with several languages, there is a possibility of missing certain things. Right? So, only thing is when you are making a failure, you should not be afraid of. That's the most important part in any new learning. So now I finished the do loop. So do, I started with open the braces, end the braces, comments are there, then condition is validated later. Condition is not validated upfront. Condition is validated later. So let us see how it works. So as long as it is less than equal to 10, he will execute the loop. If it is less than 10, less than equal to 10, he comes out of the loop. So greater than 10, he comes out of the loop. Let us see how he executes. I put b equal to b plus 1. Here also I use now a equal to a plus 1. I will not use or I will use a plus plus. Just to see the difference between while loop, for loop and do loop. Right? See what the difference we are getting. Are we getting any difference? So everywhere I have incremented by 1 for easy understanding. That's perfect. I execute now. Incrementing the value is the most important part. So otherwise we will be into the loop permanently. So he has finished. Loop is completed. So for loop 1 to 10, absolutely no issues. While loop 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, because we have done it with simple plus plus. Last time it was only 4 runs. This time you can see that it is running full. So you can see now my do loop also, it is incremented up to 10. So the difference between the while loop and the do loop is it executes the value first and then the condition is evaluated. It executes, then condition is evaluated. While loop, condition is evaluated, then execution happens. For loop, it goes as per the incremental value specified in the loop. So this do while executes first, then condition is evaluated. So that means the line over here gets executed, then condition is evaluated to whether this is to be published or not, that is done later. That is after the validation is happened. So this is the most important part. These are all finer points from the perspective of how the cycle of execution cycle, etc. So if 1,000 people access this particular code, 1,000 people are executing the code before the validation happens. So is it acceptable? So there are certain cases where it has to execute first, then the validation has to happen. There are certain cases where the validation has to happen first before entering inside the code. Final point on this looping. So now we just finished the looping. The next is you have so-called conditional statements. There are a lot of conditional statements. Switch is there, switch case. We call it a switch case where I just switch to different branches. If then else, which is predominantly used, mostly used condition. So let us go with the if condition. The switch is not required from the perspective of testing perspective. So whereas the loop, all the loops are required to be used according to the need. If condition is more than sufficient from the perspective of conditional statement. So let us now see how the conditional statements are applied. Without else. So in fact, Java scripting itself, you can take it for n number of days, right? So we are not going to touch the database handling. We are not going to touch files. Of course, we are touching it. We will touch upon the file management, but we are not. There are so many other components which is called very useful components in Java, but we may not touch each and everything. Now I am into conditional statement. Condition is yes. If put the condition inside. So here the condition needs to be put. Then you have to open the loop, right? So once you open it, it automatically close. So here the statements are. This is the syntax of the if statement. So if condition within bracket, the condition has to be within bracket. Then open the braces, close the braces. Within the braces, you have a statement. So let us now convert this into the simple conditions. Let me take up now anything, any value. So I'll say now if B, I'll put this conditional statement inside the loop so that you easily understand them. So I'll put it inside the loop. So if condition B is less than equal to 5, right? Then what you want to do? I like to now put the message, right? I am less than 5 and less than equal to 5. And my value is, right? As usual, I can use toString because I declared it as a object, integer object. The B is an integer object. So make sure the concatenation operator is used. Otherwise, you can see a error message. So yes. So if B is less than equal to 5, I want to pass this information. Otherwise, I don't want to pass it. I just want to continue the run. That means there are certain activities you like to do when the count is less than equal to 5. So under such conditions, we can use if condition statement. So that's perfect. Let me run the script. So yes, completed the run.